As you can see, the water's now going in the tank. Be very careful when buying a second-hand tank. This was dry when I bought it. I filled it up earlier on and you can see the water pattern at the bottom of the tank. So now I'm having to empty it out. Okay, if you're watching this video, you've obviously seen the video where I rebuilt the fish tank unit I bought for Mason as a grower. Now when I bought it, if you look in the picture, you'll see the tank was almost full to the brim. I took the tank off, there was no water. I'll just show you the base now, I'll just flick it. That's what the fish tank sat on, and that was completely bone dry. Even though if you look at the picture, you'll see that the water was that much lower in the tank. Why I don't know. I filled it up the other day and I noticed on there I could see water. Now what I come to think of today is when I fill the water up with the water out the house pipe, obviously now we're going freezing temperatures outside, so the house is warm, this is warm, it's been in a few days, and we had condensation on the outside, so I assumed it might have been condensation under the bottom glass. So what I've done today is, as you can see, I've lifted the tank, I've dried underneath the tank, I've dried the sheet of black polystyrene from underneath it. I've actually put tissues in there, so if any water was leaking I would see it. Now I have felt it, whether it's been done, this was placed in the back of my van on a thick, what you use for training in a gym, training mat. So I know there's nothing there. Whether it's been caught as it's been removed from the flat I've had it from down into my van, or what I don't know, but it did hold water. And like I said, the unit, even though the unit's been damp over the years, that's due to when people clean them. Everybody does exactly the same. You can't stop water spill. The wife's just gone out to get me some sealant, and what I've found is, I don't know whether I can show you through here, that back corner there, over there, I don't know whether you can actually see a slight drip of water on the tissue. I'm going to put it in the top and see if I can show you better in the top. I don't know whether it's actually picking it up. I think it can just... Sorry about the camera work. You can just see a water drip there. Now on the outside of the tank, up that corner, there's a chunk of glass missing. I never knew because I never put this tank back in here. On my video before, I've took the face off the unit. Where I did expect it to leak is, well, hang on, let me just get the camera way back again. I don't know whether you can actually see that, but there's a big chunk out of the glass there and all the way up there. Now if I expected a leak, I expected it from there, but that is bone dry. But that corner over there is definitely leaking. I've put my hand at the back and I can see the water on that tissue. So what I'm about to do now is empty the water out again, which is a bore like, because you don't realise how deep that is. I can't reach the bottom of that. I had to stand on a ladder, use a sponge in a bucket yesterday to empty the last bit out of it. So I want to drain all that out, lie it on the table, clean all the edges up there and around the front, and then silicone the whole lot again and see what happens there. I really can't believe it because it's a chunk out the outside of the tank that's leaking. So it is what it is. If that does seal, thankfully I've only just put a little bit of water in, just that much, and I put warm water in because I thought if it's condensation, if I put warm water in and that stays dry underneath, then I know it's condensation. That's why I put warm water in. But I know now that it's high, and I knew by the pattern on the polystyrene yesterday, you could see the wet was there, and then it was coming all the way down here and made its way all the way down the sides, and then last night all around the front. Even when it was empty, it was still doing the, you could see the watermark in it. So, well, I thought I got something cheap, 50 quid. It really, it looked nice when it's done, and hopefully if that silicone stops it, then the only downfall is you've got a lot of water pressure, as you all know. There's a lot of weight in the water in that tank pressing down. Whether it'll seal it or what, I don't know. But what I'll do, I'll seal it, get some water back in it, and I'll get back to you. I don't know that you can see. I'm trying to show you why I can't silicone it while it's up here. But that's my arm. I'm struggling just to grab the tip of that sponge. So there's no way I can get in there and seal that. I've got to try and ride the tank down somehow, and this is how I'm having to empty it. Things you do for your koi. I'll get back to you in a bit. The things that we do for my koi. I don't think you can actually see. There you go. These are the things you don't notice when you get to look for them. But like I said, there's no water on that, the foam underneath it. So what I'm about to do now, it's leaking from this corner. I've got the hairdryer on to try and dry it all out, but I'm going to seal all inside the tank as well. And I've had to put it on the table because the tank is that deep. I can't physically reach the bottom, so I've had to do this to get my hand inside to seal it. It's just how it works. Dried it all off with the hairdryer, cleaned it all out best I can, masked it so I don't make a mess all over the tank. As you'll see it, and then I'm going to peel it off, then fill the corners in. Don't know whether you can tell, got my daughter inside the tank, trying to mask it off, just to get the silicone a little bit more even rather than unsightly. They wouldn't want a fish like that in the tank, eh? No. Now that's a real mermaid. Done our best to mask it off. That's just so that I get a great big smudge of silicone everywhere. So that's both sides of the bottom, this side of the lip, that side of the lip. And what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to mask these off. I don't know if you can actually see where there's little bits there, look. I'm going to mask all them off, and I'm going to do all them. Now the downfall is, when you've got your head inside that tank, it's filling up with condensation. So what I'm having to do is just the hairdryer, take the condensation outside the tank and then leave it a little bit. I have put the first bead of silicone round there, and then it's a matter of getting the tape off. Whoops, camera around the wrong way. It's a matter of taking the tape off without getting it all over the tank. But that's what I'm up to at the moment. And to be honest with you, the chip on the bottom of the tank, I reckon that had been leaking. That's why the unit was as bad as it was. But over time, where the chip was took out of the tank, the chlorine, where the chlorine had crusted up, it had actually sealed it up. And I think because we've moved it, we've catched it. Because what I've done, I've cleaned that out. Where the chips out the corner of the tank, I've cleaned all that out. You can actually see the scale off the chlorine out the water. So I reckon that's just built up over a period of time and stopped it leaking. Because like I said, there was water missing at the top of the tank. I've said it before. The tank was like almost full, bar 3 or 4 inches. You can see it on my old picture. And when the unit, there's no water on the unit at all whatsoever. None of them, even though it was black, you've seen it in the video, there's no wet in the wood. So I reckon that was leaking for a long time before that actually sealed itself up. So that's what I'm up to anyway, folks. Don't know if you didn't see that repair on the corner, where the corner was chipped up, and the same on the opposite side. On the inside of the tank, I've mashed it all out. I took the old silicone off. I'm just going to put a bead on the top because the water pressure's against it. So that's what I'm doing now. So I'll spread the silicone. I'm going to pull the tape off. My lovely assistant, Steph. Can't get the tape off. There you go. Now then, it's been a couple of days now. Well, this is the third day. I've just left it all to go off. You can't really see much because obviously you can see through the glass. But what I've just done, I've just given it a thorough wash as best I can. Trying to get these stains off here, and for love nor money I can't get them off. Don't know what it is, not too bothered about it really. The tank's the main thing. Just got to wait for somebody now to help me get it back up on the unit. And what my wife's done today, rather than just add a black polystyrene base underneath there, which looked a bit tatty if I'm honest, she's been out today and bought me this. A sheet of that. A bit of vinyl. So hopefully when you look inside the tank, it'll just give it like a bit of a gravel effect rather than just the, as you can see, there's a few scuffs and what have you, and it looked a bit of an eyesore in the bottom of the tank. So hopefully I can get the tank on top of that now, and then visually I'm hoping it look like there's gravel in the bottom. So my daughter's at work today, is coming home later on tonight. I don't know why that door come off. She's coming home later this evening to try and get it back on that unit. And then what I'm going to do is just pour 3 or 4 inches of water in the bottom, warm water, and just see. I'm going to, as you can tell, I've got it on the tab, I've got it on battens. That's just so as we can get our hands underneath to lift the glass rather than put it flat on the table. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on that unit, or get it put on that unit, on the battens, put some paper towel under like I did before, just put 3 or 4 inches of water in the bottom, leave some paper towel like before. It was actually leaking, them corners there, well just the one corner, it was where there's a chip of glass out of it. So like, you know, I've done the inside now, so like I said before. So I shouldn't, I've got every confidence in that, sealing that up now anyway. But, I'll just see if I can show you this chip out. This, I never even noticed this. I don't think you can actually see that. You can see that there now. How on earth somebody's broke that there without smashing the tank is beyond me. And it had actually took a chunk out. I've just built that up with silicone. And when my daughter and a fella fetched it, my daughter actually cut her hand and couldn't understand what it cut it on, obviously struggling to carry the tank. and that's what it was. There's that one there, but it was leaking, and there was another one. It's that corner there. There's a big chunk of glass. Oh, you can't see it there. Big chunk of glass at that corner there, but I've filled that with silicone. That's where it was leaking. But hopefully now get some water in it and get the water circulating in the filter system up and running. I'll catch you when it's got a bit of water in. Well, I've got the tank slightly back in position. Left the timbers underneath. Put some water in. Dry tissue underneath. I'll leave it till tomorrow now, see if it leaks. I really don't think it will. It's the only way I could test it rather than lay it flat onto the unit. I want to see the water leak now. I've put that pebble effect at the bottom. So hopefully them tissues will all be bone dry tomorrow. And I can start filling it up. As you all know, I put the paper towel under last night. That was all bone dry. Got my mermaid here that welcome on the camera. And my daughter behind me that welcome on the camera. So what we've done, we lifted the tank, removed the timbers, just started putting the filter system and the heater back in, and then we're going to start topping it up with water. So I'll fill it up and then I'll get back to you. Okay then, I filled the tank up, just brought the hose pipe out in the garden. 48.4 gallons in that tank. So for 20 quid. The only thing is, I should imagine everybody in Britain has got a female connection on the end of the hose pipe. Now you'd automatically think that you'd shove it on that end, which I did the first time. That's wrong. You've actually got to change your hose pipe to a male connection. I'll see if I can take it off while I'm holding them. Like that, look. So you need a male connection. You would have thought that really is on backwards. So obviously when I took my hose pipe off, I put my hose pipe on that end, which is what most people in the UK use. But there's an arrow on there showing you the direction. So you have to change your hose pipe fitting, which has been a ball ache for me to try and find, but I've done it, to a male end. Apart from that, that little device for 20 quid, and you can zero it and use it time and time again, I think for 20 quid is absolutely bang on. Lovely bloody jubbly. Okay, as you can see, the tank is full of water. Thankfully no leaks. The pebble effect you can't see. Well, you can see that little bit there because I'm close to it, but as soon as you walk away you can't see it at all. So that day do what I wanted it to do. I have ordered another one of them. That's just arrived for the opposite side. Little air's down in it and the heat's up the top, ready to get the water warm. I wanted to get Mason on today. Unfortunately he ate very well, which I like him at all, but he's made up with it anyway. Just a matter of getting some fry and putting some in. Okay then, thankfully it's all in water. It looks really nice. Mason's made up with it. Just got to get his fish now to put in. Yeah, very well at all, am you, mate? Do you like your tank, son? Hey, look at your fishing anyway. Yeah, so if you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Share it, subscribe, and don't forget to polish me thumb. You know you want to. Until next time. What do you say, mate?
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.